Well, I'm here in Generation Studios and joined with Nathan Fulbrook, co-founder of Jamma Music, who has helped organise this fantastic day of music recording. But I've also heard you're a diehard fan of Prince.
Yes.
So why Prince?
Well, firstly, he's the best musician and artist to ever walk the face of the earth, in my humble opinion. Secondly, I was born and raised on Prince by my mum and my entire family, really. So it started, the obsession, I guess, started at a very young age, and I ended up being lucky enough to basically follow him around the world and see him all over the place, really. But the true sort of respect I have for Prince, apart from his artistry, and really the reason for doing all the stuff we're doing with Jamma, is about his fight for independence and artistic licensing freedom. Back in the 90s when he battled and won his freedom against Warner Brothers, and really became and paved the way for independent artists.
So there you mentioned Jamma, and that's currently your project, your
Yeah.
baby, if you'd like. So would you like to explain what this is? Because this is it's a great platform for new and
Thank you.
upcoming artists.
Yeah, so Jamma is essentially an independent music platform for independent artists, and the idea behind it is based on actually 6 months market research. When my business partner and I was beginning to build the platform, and we really wanted to go out and test the market and get to know our market to find out exactly, on a very base level, what is it that independent artists are struggling with, and what is it that they want from an online platform? Because there's a few out there. But what we found out was ultimately, they need to be able to connect with each other. They need to be able to actually find gigs, and they need to get paid. And ultimately, the beta version of Jamma, which is what we're in at the moment after launching it earlier this year, does exactly what it says on the tin.
So you would say this is a platform aimed at non-established artists.
Yeah. It would be great to have some established artists get behind it, obviously. Those that started out independent or are, people like Chance the Rapper, for example, who's always been independent. It really is for anyone, but the target is actually on these guys that have all got full-time jobs, that are true artists at heart, who are struggling and getting screwed over, let's be honest, either by the industry or by promoters, etc. This is a very clean way for them to find work and jam and get paid.
So given the, say, difficult circumstances in which you've launched this project into.
You put that very nicely.
Yes, global pandemic. How have you found that's impacted what you wanted to do and working with the new talent, what you're able to do?
I mean, obviously it's had, as it has on every industry, it's had a massive impact. We only launched Jamma with a big event, a big live event on February the 1st this year. And then the pandemic, I think by mid-March, we were in lockdown. So it's been a really challenging time. However, and initially, as I'm sure most did when we first went into lockdown, I just thought, I just can't believe it. Like, what are we going to do? I can't believe that the timing was just so bad. But we then sort of regrouped, put our heads together, and actually sat down and organised ourselves as a business. I mean, as I mentioned to you earlier, we had a lot planned for this summer. We had stages at festivals. We had residencies. We were just launching a residency in Manchester for independent open mic nights. So we had a lot of things going on, and I really felt we felt it was going to be the summer of Jamma, and it was all cancelled. But it allowed us to really sit down and actually get organised as a business. And we've got some really exciting developments that have come as a result of this, a shift in focus from just live gigging to also the digital side. So really, I think ultimately, when all this is all said and done, we'll actually come out with a much better product, which actually offers a lot more to artists.
So the pandemic has allowed you to explore new avenues that you would have otherwise not really been able to go down, or you would have avoided, perhaps.
I don't know if we would have avoided, but I think that we just, we've been backed into a corner and we've had to think outside the box, whereas originally the platform was all about live gigging. But actually, why wouldn't you include, connecting for live streams, finding a producer, finding a studio like where we are today, one of Jamma's partner studios. So I think we've just broadened the offering, which ultimately, as I said, will offer a better service to the artist and the venue and the studio and everyone involved. So ultimately, we're trying to look at it as this has had a positive impact on the business.
So what you've done is evolved your original business plan and what this was going to be.
Tried to as much. Yeah.
But do you see the industry evolving, or where do you see it sort of going thanks to this change because of the pandemic?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think what I've noticed, and I don't want to sound arrogant with this, is that a lot of platforms really don't seem to be adapting and are perhaps waiting it out or relying on the fact that they're all about live gigs, and they don't seem to be mixing things up a bit or trying to evolve too much. I think in general it is a terrible situation. I don't think it's good for anyone, particularly venues, grassroots venues, which is devastating. They're closing every day. Some of our partner venues are shutting their doors, and then running gigs at, there've been some tech trials, as I'm sure we're all aware of, gigs at quarter capacity, social distance. It just doesn't work. They can't cover their overheads, and therefore they're going to have to shut their doors, and that's a tragedy.
So how would an artist get involved with Jamma? You mentioned to me earlier it was a subscription service. Is there also a free one for?
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, one thing that Jamma is always adamant on is that we take no commission from the artist. So if you do get a job, be it digital or physical, or an event such as what we've been running today, the artists set their fee and they're paid 100% of that. We never take any commission. It is based on a membership fee, which is $6.99 a month, which offers access to the full website, which includes unlimited job connections, being able to respond to reviews, being involved in stuff like this with a Rockstar account. However, you can use it free forever, but you get up to I think it's three connections, and you can't respond to reviews. There's a few limitations, and you might not necessarily have the opportunity to be part of the Everyman Everyjam thing that we've been recording today.
But it's a good way for artists to sort of try out your platform and see what it is before they start spending money. Because for a lot of these artists that you'll be dealing with, that's quite a lot of money per month. And so you've got this free version as an alternative.
Yeah, and one of the things, when we're doing the pricing structure, if assuming the average sort of independent artist is getting sort of 150 quid, or maybe prior to this situation, a gig, for your $6.99 a month, you get one gig through Jamma, and you've paid for your annual membership fee, already. And then again, unlike other music platforms and providers, we're really working directly with artists as well on ad hoc marketing campaigns, being part of stuff like we've done today. We've launched a podcast series. So there's various other things that they get. It's not just finding a job. It's about sort of growing together and thinking outside the box together for the benefit of the artist. It's always pro artist, and that comes from, to be honest, the passion for Prince, because it really is in here. We're not just out to make a buck. It's there's a deeper sort of passion and fire within us.
So you're very much more a multifaceted sort of organisation, and that ties nicely into one of the conversations we were having earlier about your name, Jamma, and how it fits into some of the products. You were telling me that you were going to launch a clothing line. So we've got some ideas about perhaps some expansion that you could do with the Jamma name. So you could have pyjamas with your branding on. And if you decided to go with the food item theme, which you've got with your Jamtinis.
Yeah, so at any sort of Jamma event we run, we serve the Jammatini, which is a specially designed cocktail that we've so
we've decided to branch out with that into the lunch, the snack time menu. You could have a Jamma sandwich followed by a Jamma Dodger, and then wash down with your Jammatini for the full lunchtime meal deal.
Yes,
the Jamma meal deal.
I like that. Yeah, very good.
Well, it's been wonderful. Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure.
And also Generation Studios for hosting me and the artists all day. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And Silk Purse Videos who have shot it all as well. Thank you very much. Everyone involved. But again, talking of everyone involved, as we were saying earlier, this is all about curating a loop of artists, camera guys, studios, engineers, anyone involved in that loop, and it's about sort of crossing the I's and dotting the T's and bringing everyone together in a pro artist controlled environment.
And that sounds wonderful. Well, I wish you all the best. This sounds like fantastic.
Thank you
very much for having me.
No, pleasure. Thank you. Cheers.